Wonderful. So, welcome. Hopefully more will join in as we go because I wanted to make today more of a Q&A session because there were a significant amount of questions from last month. We were talking about macros and I just felt like we needed to go into it a little bit more than we had time for. I mean, we talked about it for an hour, but it just wasn't enough time for everyone. So I want to go through some of those questions and literally anything else that you want to cover. So if you have questions about macros or peptides or supplements or literally anything health related, we can go through it today. Um, there were many questions about, I did a podcast episode a while ago on supplements and which supplements could be replaced by peptides, how that works based on goals, some questions about gut health. So I'm going to go through some of those. And for those of you joining live, if you have a thought around questions that you might have, feel free to post them in the chat. You can send them directly to me if you want to stay anonymous, or you can just post it in the chat. The chat does not get posted with the recording, if that helps you. Cool. So let's get started. I want to, where do I want to take this? Let's talk about gut health because I just actually met with a client today on GI Map. I do a lot of stool testing in my practice because knowing that your gut is imbalanced is not helpful in the grand scheme of things if we don't know what imbalance your gut has. And so I do a lot of gut work, and I find for individuals that have severe gut dysbiosis, bringing in something like a peptide is probably not the time or place for it. Um, and so as a practitioner, if I were guiding a client through protocols together with them, and they're dealing with SIBO or really insane candida or parasite issues, I'm not going to say, hey, we should start on a fit peptide. Like, it's just not the time or place for it. We know that fit, a bioactive precision peptide, is going to help reduce inflammation, increase muscle protein synthesis, which are two really great goals that every woman needs to have at the top of her list. But if we're dealing with a gut infection that we know is causing a significant amount of inflammation, you have to ask yourself, am I taking the fit peptide because I just have a bunch of inflammation that I'm not entirely sure the source is? I know it's not gut related. It's probably metabolic. Like, I need to tidy up my food a little bit. I need to move a little bit, but I need some sort of motivation to get going. And I'm using the peptides for this. Perfect. If you, on the other hand, know that you're dealing with a parasite infection, you've had this parasite issue for 3+ months, and you're thinking, I'm going to add the fit peptide to help with inflammation. If you have unlimited funds and your budget is $500 a month to use on supplements, have at it. But if we know that there's something in the body that's causing inflammation, aka a parasite, then probably best to like address the parasite and then bring in the fit. Does that make sense? So, um, I'm all for using supportive tools at key times in one's life. So, in the case of SIBO, I don't come across this too often, but it's worth noting because it does come up. And because I think everyone joining this chat is like, I would say advanced. I think I attract women that have kind of like done all the things and know a significant amount, which challenges me to be a better practitioner because I have to think outside the box. But I think when it comes to SIBO specifically, now you're probably gonna know if you've had SIBO. It's a pretty common thing that people will know that they've had. If you're unsure, the common symptoms that I see is like massive abdominal distension after consuming literally anything, whether that's fiber or starches or sugar. You can even react poorly to probiotics or supplements, like you take a random supplement and all of a sudden you look 7 months pregnant. Just a lot of bloating, a lot of feeling full in the upper abdominal area. Like if you think like right where the rib cages kind of meet at that top area, just like a significant amount of bloating and distension there. Noisy gut after eating, like just a scroll, that's SIBO. In that case, the lean peptide, because of the way that it's fermented, I find individuals that have had significant SIBO infections or dealing with a SIBO infection cannot take lean. It's probably happened. I've interacted with maybe 3 people directly that have had this issue, but it's worth noting in the conversation around gut health, peptides, what can we use? Now, as a practitioner, if I have a client who has a gut issue and we're working through parasites or SIBO, a product that we could use that's going to be really helpful in the make umbrella, you could say, is Calm. Oftentimes, when we're dealing with digestive issues, there's a nervous system component because in your gut, there are these little soldiers, secretory IgA, and they remain low in individuals with nervous system dysregulation due to a gut infection. So you can totally clear the gut infection. And these are the people that constantly have H. pylori, that constantly have digestive issues, because it's not necessarily a digestive issue, but a nervous system issue. So if we're dealing with digestive problems and you're thinking, oh, peptides are going to solve all my problems. Well, no, they're not, because we need to address the root, which in this case would be the parasite or the SIBO or the H. pylori, in conjunction with nervous system regulation. So bringing in Calm could be helpful. Even bringing in Focused, I've used to be helpful, because when we're dealing with a lot of gut stuff, oftentimes our brains are a total mess. And Focus, which is more of a nootropic, like it's a combination nootropic peptide, can be helpful for just getting the brain on point while we're dealing with the infection. But do not think, and like, unfortunately, there are people out there that I don't know if they don't know this or they know this and they choose to promote it anyway, that say that their way is the be all end all of doing this. And if you just take the supplement, it'll all be better. And that's just, it's not realistic. And so the question that I received was, if I have a severe gut infection, will the peptides help me overcome this? No, it will not. When you have a gut infection, you need to address the gut infection, and peptides will not address the gut infection. So in the case of fit, maybe you could use it for the inflammation if you wanted to, but I would address the actual root cause. If you're dealing with a significant amount of energy issues, you could maybe use Energize to just put a little pep in your step while you address the root cause. And I would definitely say in many of my gut protocols, I do use Calm because it's such a great product to regulating the nervous system. So any questions on that, feel free to type it in the chat. I'm just going to make sure I covered all that she asked about the gut. So when another piece to this is like, do I have the capacity to be able to absorb this in the gut? Because bioactive precision peptides oral route requires you to properly absorb. I haven't seen individuals with really lacking, like majorly lacking gut function, not be able to absorb the peptides because they're so easily absorbable. It's not like in the case of, like, let's say, what would be a good example? Iron, for example, where you need a proper balance of digestive function in order to absorb the iron. And then there are all these problems because you can't, it's not that case. So don't let a gut permeability problem stop you from using peptides. So that's not a concern, but more what I'm speaking on is if you know you have a gut infection, don't expect peptides to address a gut infection. It's like expecting, I don't know, vinegar to taste sweet. It's just not, it's just not. Okay, so another question. Oh, okay, this is a good one. And kind of in the same context. When we're dealing with supplements, I did a podcast episode about this, but I'm happy to talk about it because it comes up so much in everything that I do. So let's just go into it and I'll try my best to explain. And if there are specific supplements that you're currently taking that you're not sure of, definitely post it in the chat and we can go through things. I don't know all supplements, but I have a pretty good understanding of what works and what doesn't work. So let's just go through each of the peptides, what they do, how they work, and what could replace them. And feel free to chime in at any point in the chat and let me know if there's something that I missed or that you have questions on. So, starting with Fit, because it's my all-time favorite. I love it so much. It's incredible. I just love it. So, if your goal is building strength, maintaining muscle, muscle repair, recovery after workouts, recovery from life, then it's a good option. Clues that it would be helpful for you include you're not recovering after movement, you have ongoing soreness, you're not able to develop muscle. Like maybe you have those scans at your gym and every month you do it and nothing has changed, but you're working out really hard and you don't know what's going on. It could be that your muscle protein synthesis just sucks. And so we need to bring in essential amino acids and Fit. In fact, I have essential amino acids and hydrated in this cup right now. The grapefruit one, because I'm trying to make my way through it. So I never have to order it again because tropical is way better. And so when it comes to Fit, I think that there's a place to do essential amino acids and Fit on a daily basis for women over the age of 40. Why I say 40 is because before 40, most of your muscle protein synthesis can be triggered through day-to-day life and eating enough protein. But over 40, you actually need a significant amount of it, and you need to be eating every 2 to 3 hours, and it's just not realistic. So here's how you can use Fit for muscle protein synthesis throughout the day in conjunction with essential amino acids. I don't think anything else is required in this realm. Like, no to BCAAs. Like, they're just pointless when you combine both of these two things. If you're doing any sort of mitochondrial support, Fit could replace it. So, like, if you haven't had the best results on timeline, MitoPure, I still take one capsule per day or one gummy per day on this. But so let's kind of go through what it looks like on a daily basis. So Fit I would do in the morning before noon just because it does have a little bit of caffeine in it. And for those that are sensitive, doing it in the afternoon is just silly. So I like to do it right before my workout so I can use it as a pre-workout because it does have caffeine and it helps me through my workouts. Then throughout the rest of the day, when I have a gap in my eating, so for example, I told you I had essential amino acids in this cup. My last meal was at 3 o'clock. It's now 6 o'clock. That's 3 hours. By the time I make my next meal and sit down and eat it, that's 5 hours between my last meal. That's unacceptable. Like, that's way too long to go without amino acids in my body. And so I use the essential amino acids anytime that I am between my meal times. So in the case of Fit, I do it before my workout to trigger muscle protein synthesis, use the caffeine, help with repairing. It's triple times stronger than the essential amino acids. And then I fill the gaps of when I'm not eating, like 2 to 3 hours if I'm not eating, I'll have a scoop of essential amino acids, which has the same amino acid profile as whey protein without the calories. So it's going to go directly into the body and trigger muscle protein synthesis, help with muscle recovery, and is a really good tool for women over 40 if you're going more than 2 to 3 hours between meals. So again, Fit is like 4 times stronger. If I could do Fit 4 times a day, I would, but then I would be broke. So we keep the one stick pack in the morning and then essential amino acids throughout the day. Now, generally, I'm not doing more than 2 scoops of essential amino acids per day. I don't think that's necessary. Just like make sure that you're eating enough. Okay, moving on to lean. So where I see lean being great at is anytime that an individual wants to regulate cravings and blood sugar. I see, and I've mentioned this on all of our calls, and I'm going to continue to mention it, How many women just go on the website and order lean and think that I'm just going to do this one product and it's going to be the be all end all to all my problems when it comes to my weight? No, no, like don't. Do not do lean by itself. Lean is a really great product to combine with fit, but I wouldn't do lean alone. Lean is going to help with cravings. It's going to help to burn fat. It's going to help. Where I see it being helpful is instead of using things like berberine or glucoresolve, or where you don't want any additional antimicrobials or nutrients. It helps with snacking. It helps with satiation. It helps with belly fat. Give it like 3 to 4 months in conjunction with fit, and if you can swing it, also hydrated. Like those three essential together. Now, like I mentioned before, lean is not advised for people that have had SIBO. And you'll know if you've had it, and I would just avoid it. A question: if I work out in the evening, will I still get the good benefits of fit taking it out in the morning? Such a great question. Thank you. Let's loop back to fit. So if you're working out in the evening, still take fit in the morning because you need muscle protein synthesis. Just like I was saying, like we need those boosts of it throughout the day. Okay, like as we age, our body is not going to be making muscle as it did in our 20s. And we got to work extra hard on all fronts to make it all work. So the fit is great for muscle repair and strength, regardless of when you take it. Because I work out in the mornings, I take it before my workout. If I worked out in the evenings or afternoons, I would still take it in the morning. Like when I travel, I often work out in the afternoon, evening, and I'll still take my fit in the morning, and does just the same. Like all we want to do is increase muscle protein synthesis throughout the day always, and fit will do that. And essential amino acids will fill the gaps, though they're not as strong. Imagine like fit is like the super booster, and essential amino acids is like downing 3 to 4 whey protein shakes without all of the calories. Which essential amino acids do you recommend? Also, did you say they replace collagen? Great question. These are awesome questions. Well done. Okay, so I personally use Kion essential amino acids. You can add it to water or you can get capsules. I prefer the water because I look forward to drinking it. The first 1 or 2 times you drink it, it will taste like death. Um, it's just your palate adjusting to the aminos because they are a very bitter taste. But once you've had it a couple of times, I promise you it's not terrible tasting. However, the lemon flavor will always suck. So I recommend avoiding it because it's really bad. I don't like it. Okay, so, and then the next part of the question is, would you say that they replace collagen? Great question. So I would say that collagen is an old technology that's no longer needed because we have bioactive precision peptides, and I would far prefer a client. Like if a client asked me this question, I would say I would prefer you to have a really good bone broth a couple times a week, like whole foods, and then focus on fit and hydrated if your goal is collagen. And I will add to that vitamin C. Vitamin C triggers collagen production as we age. This is a hot take. I don't normally talk about this because it's kind of complicated and I guess boring for some people. But as we age, we build up more environmental toxicities and heavy metals and those sorts of things. Vitamin C is used to buffer that throughout the body. And so oftentimes individuals are lower in vitamin C. Like every time I test vitamin C levels, they are like scurvy level low. Um, and it's not because, well, it's partially because we're not eating enough. Like when I track my food and I see how little vitamin C I get on a daily basis, it is so incredibly sad. And I would say that I eat rather well. It's very hard to get enough vitamin C in your diet. So I would say focus on vitamin C rich foods and a really good whole food supplement vitamin C, and that will do more for you with a whole foods diet, collagen focus, like bone broths and like healthy things in conjunction with using Fit and Hydrated, because the Hydrated has glycine, coconut water powder. The Fit is going to encourage all the same growth tendencies that collagen would, but I think that's a better structure, and that's what I personally do and what I would recommend for a client, like without a doubt. So, my whole thing as a practitioner is combining as many of our tools as possible to achieve the goals that we have. So, if somebody comes to me and says, look, I'm not happy with my skin texture, I'm not happy with my hair, I really want to build muscle, then I would say, well, let's do Fit and Hydrated from a peptides perspective, bring in the vitamin C and bring in whole foods, and that will support us far more than just a liquid collagen or a collagen product. Because you have to think collagen are building blocks. Bioactive precision peptides are the messengers that direct the entire body to do all sorts of things. So it's just the technology is so changed and adapted over time that I think you'll see, ideally over the next 5 or 10 years, that collagen gets less and less and less and less popular from people that are actually critically thinking through what their body needs and how they can use it. Yeah. Okay. So getting back to the peptides, what it replaces, how it works. Energized would be the next one. Now, to be honest, I don't use a lot of energized in my practice. I don't see it being a common product that people order. I think because when we're using Fit, it also improves our energy, and it's kind of a 2-for-1 kind of thing. Whereas like Energize is great for crash free, lasting energy, dragging mornings, 3 p.m. slump. But if somebody's having that, they're probably also having focus issues. And I would far prefer Fit and Focused over Fit and Energized or Energized alone, or just Fit by itself. So I don't generally use Energized. I have a couple of customers, and maybe you watching this, you're like, Leanne, how do you not even like Energized? And I, I don't use it a whole bunch. So it's one of those products that is a meh for me. Um, Focused, this is not a meh for me. I have taken this product every day since it launched. I think the first time I took it was in December, and I've been on it every day since, and I couldn't imagine not having it at this point. Um, so yeah, with Focused, sharper focus, better memory, less brain fog. Uh, do you know when you've been staring at your screen for too long and you start to get like the strain in your eyes and the pressure around the sides and just the sensitivity to the blue light? You know, like just right around this area. Oh my goodness, I just remember it. I don't have that. It makes you far less sensitive to blue light. A Focused is incredible. I don't talk about it much because it's not sexy. It's not like weight loss. It's not building muscle. It's not regulating your blood sugar. So people are less excited about it. But I wish Focused had a more place in people's peptide protocols. I think that Focused could eliminate a significant amount of like extra brain stuff that people take. But again, to follow up to the conversation we had initially, it's like, why is your brain not functioning? Like what's going on that your brain is not working optimally? Is it because you're not eating enough? Because that is a significant thing that I see a lot of women struggle with. I would say it's probably brain fog is probably the second or third top issue that people come to me with, just saying like, I'm dealing with brain fog. How do I overcome this? It's a huge issue. It's affecting my day to day. And I would say 90% of those individuals um, are not eating enough. And so, like, of course, you're not able to think if you're not able to like eat a lot, right? So, I think absolutely essential is asking yourself, why? Why am I going through this? How can this supplement bring balance? Instead of what I see a lot of us is just we're frantically choosing things that we think are going to work, and we're not critically thinking through how it's going to affect our goals. And I think a lot of us can get sold on the idea, like we listen to podcasts and we're like, oh, yeah, that's what I want. But then coming back to what are your goals? Like, what are we working toward right now? Like, my goal over the next 3 months is I want to reduce my inflammation. So then it's asking, like, not mine, but an example. It's asking, okay, what is causing inflammation? Could the foods that I'm eating be causing inflammation? My sleeping space, my workspace, my mind space, like, and just asking yourself. And then does fit align with that? If I reduce inflammation and get more motivation, and am I going to the gym? Do I want to build muscle, etc.? Now, to kind of go back to the fit, just because you're not working out doesn't mean you don't need fit. I have a lot of people question whether or not they should be on fit if they're not currently going to the gym, and muscle protein synthesis is required to maintain muscle. So even if you're not going to the gym, like if I were to take 6 weeks off, you better believe that I'm going to keep drinking fit. There's a question about lean. When do you take lean? Let's go through it. So, lean is 2 capsules per day. You can take, there are a couple of options. There's a tiny itty bit of caffeine in it, not enough that I respond to it at all, and I'm pretty sensitive to caffeine, but kind of play with it. How I like to suggest separating it is doing 1 capsule at each of your larger meals, up to 2 meals a day. So let's say your larger meals are breakfast and lunch, then I would do 1 capsule at breakfast and 1 capsule at lunch. Think of it as just assisting with blood sugar regulation for that meal. If you find that you get cravings in the afternoon, I would just make sure that you've had all your lean throughout the morning so that you're prepared for the afternoon. Energized, I've had people use this up to 3 p.m., like whenever they start to feel a little bit draggy using it. And the more times you use it, the less energetically draggy you feel. For focused, take it any time during the day. I usually take with my second meal of the day. So how my day flows is I wake up, I go for a walk, I come home, I have breakfast, I go to the gym, I come back home. When I come back home, I do focused and calm. Now, a lot of people, I wouldn't say a lot of people, maybe like 10% of people find that when they take calm, they can't sleep well. I'm one of those people. If I took calm right before bed, I would not sleep. I would be up all night. So I use calm to regulate my nervous system after a heavy lift because we know that muscle is going to build in a stressful environment, but maintaining that stress throughout the day is a really bad idea. So whether you lift in the morning or the afternoon, if you can handle it, doing calm and focused, if you want to like focus for the rest of your day, is really great after your workout. The calm regulating your nervous system and getting back into like rest and digest mode. And focused, I use it because it's the beginning of my work day, kind of like when I've come back from the gym, I've had my second meal, I'm ready to get into it, and I need my brain to be on point. Hydrated, anytime at all times you use it. It's like rapid cellular hydration. You know you need it if you're getting like cramps, headaches, dry mouth, twitches, all signs that you need to be better hydrated. Unfortunately, because bioactive precision peptides go the oral route, they are required to have proper electrolyte balance throughout the body in order to work. So oftentimes, and I don't want to say oftentimes because it's only happened a couple of times, but when somebody says, oh, the peptides aren't working for me, like nothing has worked, a large majority of these people are not taking an electrolyte. And unfortunately, in order for these cellular messengers to get across the cellular membrane, it needs to be in proper hydration balance. So we need the hydrated. And so you remember how I was saying, I get a lot of people that just purchase lean and that's all, and then go on it for 3 months and then get back to me and say nothing changed. But it's like, I really wish that they would combine that with fit and like doubly, if you're putting that kind of time, attention, money into a product, we want to make sure that it's working well. And we really, really need to be hydrated well. Like it is absolutely essential for taking peptides oral route that we are hydrated well. And people say that they're hydrated, like the amount of clients I've had that's like, I drink enough water, everything's good. It's not about how much water you're drinking, it's the quality of the water that you're drinking. I'm happy to go deeper into that if you want me to. And the balance of electrolytes in the water that you're drinking. Now, because these products, and this is just a tidbit outside of like peptides and everything, most all the products that we consume now that are added to water are going to affect enamel long term. So what I don't suggest that you do with any of these products, and I'm being a horrible example of this right now with this cup beside me that I haven't finished, is like slowly sipping on all of these products throughout the day. What I try to do, not always the best at it, is like making a drink and drinking it and then being done and going back to plain water. Like it doesn't have to be this long drawn out things. It will affect tooth health, especially if you are sensitive in your teeth. Like what I mean by that is some people have more sensitive enamel than others and constantly have like tooth issues. So if that's the case for you, I wouldn't suggest just like having a little bit here and a little bit there, and your water bottles always have something in them. Um, yeah, so that's a hydrated. I saw a question come in. I've been taking lean for a month and I've been eating whole foods, clean, low carb, and can't see any changes in cravings, weight loss, etc. I have the symptoms that you mentioned that might be SIBO, but I haven't been tested for that. I'm wondering if that's impacting the benefits of lean. Great question. So glad that you shared this with us. Okay, so we will know that lean doesn't work for you if you have SIBO and you're having a strong reaction to the lean. I should have clarified. Oftentimes these people will take lean and they'll have like a huge digestive upset that does not get better. So there's that. Um, then the other part of it is I've been taking lean for a month. I don't think a month is like long enough to see good changes. Um, so I have like a personal story for you. I've been working out for 4 years. Yeah, 4 years officially this month. Um, it took me like 3 years to figure out how to work out right for my body. That over the course of the last 3 months, I've really dialed it in to the point where I'm seeing some massive changes. Now, I think a lot of that has to do with proper rest, changing my carb to fat ratio, and also the peptides, which I got really, really serious about this year. Um, but it takes time to figure out that proper combination for you. And I would say, like, if you're just doing lean, I don't think that lean is enough. Like I said previously, if you're thinking that I'm just going to put this in a vacuum and not talk about everything else that could be going on. If you're like, hey, I want to spend the next 3 to 4 months seeing if I can make adjustments to diet, lifestyle, movement, all the things to make this work for me, I would say lean and fit at least with some sort of electrolyte, some sort of electrolyte. And if you can, fit, lean, and hydrated. If that's totally off base, then at least lean and hydrated. Um, and give it like 3 months. But I am telling you, fit and lean together. Like it is so unfortunate how many women just purchase lean and then after a couple of months message me and say this doesn't work. And I'm like, can you please just try fit? Can you please just bring in hydrated? Like I'm not the type to just want to sell you something. Like I started off this call saying, if you have gut infections, don't buy this product. So like I really will try to work with you on this. And then further to that, okay, then it's okay, I've been on peptides for let's call it 3 to 4 months and I'm not seeing changes. Then I would question, okay, what else is going on? Like what's happening? In my experience, with clients that are quote unquote doing everything right and we're not seeing progression, I would say most of the time it's either their macro balance is not correct. Most commonly, the pattern that I see is not eating enough protein. The balance of carbohydrates to fat is wrong. I would say that most women, I know I was the keto queen. I'm about to say something totally scandalous. Most women are eating too much fat and not enough carbs. Like we've done a complete 180 on all of it. And we're just like pounding fat left, right, and center, like 130 grams. Plus, then we're doing like 150 grams of carbs. It's just all wrong and not enough protein. So that's one thing. Another thing is nervous system. Like, I kind of sound like a broken record recently, but the world is really heavy. Like, I don't know about you, but 2020 on has just been like nonstop. And I don't think that we take the time to realize how dysregulated we can become. Um, so I think that there's a nervous system component to this. And another thing that I notice is like the movement is not right. Like, unfortunately, and I'm this body type too, my body will not change significantly unless I dial it in massively. And then it becomes like, what is your goal? Like, what are we trying to achieve here? Because I'm okay with tracking everything, going to the gym, being super strict. Like, I'm okay with that. It's a decision that I've made. I'm a health coach, so I kind of like have to be okay with it if I'm asking clients to be okay with it. But I think you need to also look at how much time am I spending at the gym? Am I doing sprints? Anyone over the age of 35 should be doing sprints twice a week if we want to build muscle. Unfortunately, I know they suck, but absolutely essential, unfortunately. And just looking at your program, like, are you getting the right amount of movement? This question also related to changes in cravings, not seeing any changes to cravings. If we're doing proper hydration, we're taking the lean and we're not seeing changes to cravings, some thoughts that you could think about what is, are you setting up the structure of your day properly? Like, are you waiting too long to eat at the beginning of the day? Like, I don't do a great job at this intentionally. Like, I don't love food first thing in the morning. And so I'll go for a fasted walk and then eat. But my first meal is loaded with protein and fiber, without a doubt. Like, it needs to be. And oftentimes I find if we're dealing with cravings and it's not being supported with a lean product, right? Then it becomes, am I structuring my days properly? Is my fiber at least 40 grams? Yeah. Yeah, I said 40, 40. Is my protein, like if you're working out, I would say your protein needs to be at least your body weight if you're under 175 pounds, or at least your height in centimeters if you're over 175-ish pounds-ish. Uh, and am I structuring my macros correctly? So let's just say that your goal for carbohydrates is 200 grams a day. Just pick a number. If you're doing all of your carbs between two meals and you have 175 grams of carbs in a 2 to 3 hour block, of course you're dealing with cravings throughout the day. So looking at stretching out your macros, evenly separating them throughout the day, and being conscious of when your cravings come up, what are you actually craving? I find a lot of the times it's not food that we're craving. To get like personal here, when I'm craving candies, it's because I'm missing connection. My dad loves candies and I love my dad a lot. And when I'm craving candy, it's oftentimes because I'm lacking in affection from others and I need like touch and interaction. And so that could be a trigger for you if you're craving like baked goods, or start to just ask yourself a question. It's called well, I call it creating a pause. You tell yourself, it's not that I can't enjoy, pick a thing that you're craving, this muffin. I'm going to put this muffin in front of me. It's fine. I can eat it as soon as I go through this dialogue. Why am I craving this? What do I actually need? What's happened today that I feel like I need this? Sometimes it can be physiological of like, I haven't eaten enough food. I skipped breakfast. I'm starving. I need quick fuel. And then it's okay. I need to structure my macros different. Or it's when I was leaving the house, my husband said something really hurtful to me. And when I eat baked goods, it makes me happy. So are there other things that could make you happy that's not food? And the answer is always yes. It's just we go for the quick things that feel more comfortable. Next question. Lean is finally working for me. Love, calm, and hydrated. Yeah. Yeah. The nervous system piece, I know it's just not sexy. Nobody wants to hear regulate your nervous system. But oftentimes when issues continue to present themselves, I am convinced that it's more oftentimes a nervous system issue. And without addressing the sources of our stress and like the stuckness in our life, and we can feel that too, like there's nothing like going on vacation and feeling totally free and carefree and awesome, and then coming back to life and being like, this is so heavy. I hate so much of this. Like, that's not a good headspace. And that's a really good assessment for what needs to change in order for me to be comfortable with what's happening here. Because when the nervous system gets stuck in these patterns, we need to shift either the pattern itself, like what's happening in the day to day, or shift our mindset around that pattern. I would like to hear more about water and nutrients. Okay, so water. Um, every type of water is going to have a different structure to it and how the body accepts the water. If I had a ton of money and wanted to spend $10,000 on a water system, I would get that hydrogen water because every time I see a client, before I've looked at what water the client is drinking, I can tell that they're drinking that hydrogen water just by looking at their blood work because they are the most hydrated, most balanced human beings. But I can't justify spending $8,000 to $10,000 on a water machine. So, like, if you have that, great. Let me know how it goes. I'd love to see your before and after blood work. But for the rest of us, so I'm in the camp of filter the heck out of it and add safe minerals to your water yourself. I find that working with as many POTS individuals as I do, which basically POTS is such a jerk. It's this condition where when we get up too quickly, we can get dizzy, and they're very sensitive to electrolyte balance. A lot of these individuals, because I work with people that have dealt with mold illness, a lot of them have POTS due to a mold issue. It's tied up with nervous system dysregulation, and the type of water that we drink really makes a difference. So there are some people that say that water should remain as natural as possible and the minerals should be in the structure and all that. And there are certain like carbon-based filters that will maintain minerals and get rid of as many toxicities as possible. I'm in the camp of like remove as much as we can and add back what we can in a controlled environment. The other side of that is like in a perfect world, if I lived in a place where I could have well water and I could test that well water every 6 months to a year with a very thorough test, there's actually a company called like My Tap Score or like something like this. And they do, let me just see if I can find it so I can actually be helpful for you. Let's see. See if I can find it. My Tap Score. Yeah, that was right. mytapscore.com. I'm always so impressed. There's so much in my brain. Sometimes I'm just like, I don't know what it is. It's the thing. But mytapscore.com. And they do well water kits more so than just like calling the city and asking them to test your water because they will test, is this water going to kill them? And if the answer is no, then thumbs up. But we want to know, will this water like make me healthy and make me happy? So if I could have well water that hasn't been touched by, I don't know if you've seen it. There's a bunch of stuff going around about water that's in the towers all around, and a lot of cities have these. And now they have all of the like not satellites, antennas and things like that for 5G. And I do think that it's affecting the structure of the water. So if we could do well water that was tested thoroughly, that is the best, and then filter whatever you need to. I think that structurally that makes sense. Safety wise, it makes sense. Like that's the be all end all. But for all of us living in a city where that's not possible, I think distilled or reverse osmosis water options are probably the best if you can re-add the minerals. So distillation, I would say, is more natural than reverse osmosis water. I find a difference in my body when I do distilled or reverse osmosis, but distilled takes forever and it uses a lot of energy and it's not awesome for a family. You can get distillation machines that go in your home, but they can be very expensive also. And so you can get like just countertop distillation, which I do use um, like when we're traveling. But generally speaking, reverse osmosis will do the job. And then we just want to add minerals back in. So there are a couple of options to add minerals back in. Um, I prefer, let me see if I can just find it and send you the right one in the chat. Beam. There we go. So I like a fulvic based mineral. I find that this works best for most individuals. This is being weird. You know, sometimes Amazon doesn't work for links. There we go. There we go. So these are the minerals that I use. Um, and it has a fulvic base. So we know that this is going to be awesome for the mitochondria, awesome for uptake, and just better overall for hydration. Um, when it causes a detox reaction, which minerals will cause a detox reaction because the displacement of minerals happens when we have heavy metals and environmental toxicities in our body. And so as we're balancing our minerals, we can have a detox reaction. So when you're cleaning up your water and you switch to reverse osmosis and then you start adding minerals, oftentimes you can feel worse before you feel better because you're literally balancing the minerals in your body. So I go that route. I personally do reverse osmosis water. I add the minerals back in. I do it for myself, my husband, our dogs, and everyone gets it. When I'm traveling, I use a Grail water bottle, and that will take even non-potable water all the way to being safe to drink. But where I see a lot of people make mistakes is, well, not a mistake, but just water by volume is right under how much air we breathe in a day. So I feel like in a proper order of operations of what we should care about, it should be like air quality, followed by water quality, followed by food quality, because just per volume, the air, I can't remember how many liters. I think it's like 40,000 liters we're breathing in and out every day. And then water, we're at like 4 liters or so. And then food, we're at like 1 liter. And so from a grand scheme of things, it makes sense to put water even above the quality of our food. And so I choose reverse osmosis. And if I could do um the hydrogen water, like 1 billion%, I would do that. But like I can't justify a $10,000 like machine. Um, that's like a massive trip to Italy, and I would rather do that. I think the product that I'm speaking on, the hydrogen water, would be the Kangen water, or something similar to that. Uh, yeah, just looking through I guess they call it a water ionizer, and it changes the pH. I'm pretty sure this is the one that, let me just make sure that I'm not saying anything wrong. Yeah, hydrogen water machines. Yeah, it's considered a hydrogen water machine. So when I see clients have hydrogen water, I can tell based on their blood work. So, I mean, I would do that, but like I already have a system set up and the one that I wanted I was looking at and like, man, that's expensive. Yeah, hydrogen water. Okay, I was right. Yeah, phew. Yeah, I've not personally done Kangen water or hydrogen water. I'm afraid that I'll like it too much and then try to convince myself to purchase it. So I'm like, just avoid it. Don't go there. Do not go there. Um, okay, we talked about this piece. Oh, I do have something that I want to share with you. And okay, so um, you are here because you have a subscription. I'm gonna try to share this right because I haven't like fully gone through this in my head, so apologies in advance. You're here because you have a subscription to Peptides. The Peptides released earlier this year to the public, I think it was like March, where everyone could get it at like introductory pricing. So they're telling us September is the last month where we can lock in that introductory pricing, and then pricing is going to increase by about 10%. So here's what I'm telling everyone that has a subscription. If you're thinking about trying a new product, now's the month to add it in because starting next month, products are going to go up by about 5 or 10%. That might not affect you like in your brain, but for me, I'm like, why wouldn't I save money now if I'm thinking about adding it? So if like for my subscription, what I did is I added like one extra box of Calm in there. And then, yeah, we're still doing the two fits. I added one extra box of Focused. So, how it's going to work is September is going to be the last month that you can adjust your subscription and lock in the introductory pricing through till the end of the year. So if you add, let's just say you don't have Focused in your cart this month, but like in October, you want to add Focused, you're going to pay the new price on Focused. Okay. So nothing changes for you and your subscription. If you have what you have, that price is going to remain the same until January, and then it'll go up by 5 or 10%. But if you're thinking about trying a new product, maybe add it now as opposed to October because you'll save a little bit of money doing it now. Now, the next part of this, um, where was I going to take that? The price changes, the promo. Yeah, now would be the time to change it. I think that's all. There was something else about subscriptions. I literally just found out about this like 10 minutes before our call as I was making Coconut her food, and I was like, "Oh gosh, I need to tell everyone." Um, Yeah, there is a new product coming. It's gonna be wild. I've personally been trying it for the last couple of months and it's insane. So stay tuned for that. As soon as I can share, it has to do with sleep. And so as soon as I can share more details on that, I will because sleep. Anyone who's experienced perimenopause knows that sleep is like absolutely essential. So when it comes to the subscriptions and things, again, nothing changes on your subscription. Um, let's clarify how the subscriptions work since we're talking about subscriptions. After your third month has run, you get 20% off ongoing on that subscription. So let's just say your subscription has Calm and Fit, and you're like, Calm and Fit, Calm and Fit, Calm and Fit. And one day you're like, hey, I want to put Focused in there. When you add Focused in there, if you're at that 20%, that Focus is now 20% off too. So I highly recommend never canceling a subscription because it starts then at zero. So if you want to, you can edit your subscription, you can delay your subscription, do not cancel it. Okay. So the first 3 months you get 10% off, and then the next forever you get 20% off. And so, a really good way to think about the price changes that are going to happen in January is like whatever you want in your subscription, whatever you think you want come January, like let's lock it in at this price until January, and then you're going to continue to save that 20% ongoing. Does that make sense? This is the first time I've tried to explain that. So you let me know if that was just all confusing. Um, and I'll try to reiterate it a little bit better because I just found out about it. So again, this month is the last, September is the last month that we can lock in lower prices. Everything moving forward in October will be at a higher price, like about 5 to 10% higher. But whatever's in your subscription as of September, you will continue to get the introductory pricing. In January, everything is going to go up, But since you have a subscription that's had more than 3 runs, you're saving 20%. So it's going to be very minimal for those that have a subscription now. And they did this so that people that started with the company early could get a ton of bonuses. And that's going to continue into next year. Like there's wild stuff happening. And the key thing, because I'm able to join these calls and I'm able to understand. The key thing has always been for me for customers to have the best experience possible. Not everyone who is an affiliate will care as much about customer experience, but it is like so necessary for me. So if there's ever a question you have, or you don't know how to edit your subscription, or you're totally confused over this, like just reach out to me. You have my personal number. You can text me and I can explain it. If you're not sure, you can always provide me your password and I'll go into your account and explain it to you. I don't share that password. I don't save it even. It's just so that I can help explain what's happening. So anytime you edit your subscription, you want to edit it. You never want to remove it. Yeah. I'm gonna go through the rest of the questions and make sure that I touched on everything. Um, there was a question about therapeutic versus oral peptides. Let's go into that really quick because it's pretty simple. Therapeutic peptides are pretty epic. Like myself personally, I've done therapeutic peptides. I wasn't comfortable doing therapeutic peptides until I had a full body MRI because I was concerned that a lot of them stimulate growth and abnormal growth. And if we have some sort of development in the body, the last thing we want is to trigger abnormal growth. And so therapeutic peptides, they do not gently go into the body. They are pretty abrupt, which is necessary in some cases. But with the case of bioactive precision peptides, we don't have to worry about these like overcoming the body's signals, like what therapeutic peptides will do. I use each in my practice, but as a practitioner, I would far prefer something that gently nudges the body in the case of the bioactive precision peptides versus slamming the body against the wall and saying, I don't care what you think, this is what we're doing. So, like, personally, I no longer take therapeutic peptides if and I haven't done this in quite a while, but when I get an injury, maybe I'll do a little bit of BCP to just help with the injury recovery. And I point to my shoulder because that's the last time I used it. But overall, myself personally, I would rather be soft touch than hard touch. And I am always a little bit uncomfortable. Like I highlight when we use therapeutic practice or when we use therapeutic peptides in my practice, I highlight like if it were me, I would get a full body MRI because if you have a tumor you don't know about, the tumor's about to get much larger. Yeah. Um, yeah. Any other last minute questions? Anything else? Was this helpful? Did you like the Q&A style? Like we kind of just went through everything bit by bit. If you have ideas on what we want to do next month, happy to cover it. I just want to be here when you guys have questions so we can have this dialogue. And anytime you have an active subscription, you'll get access to these calls. If you can't be on the calls, they're recorded and you can always send me questions ahead of time. Yeah, brilliant. Loved it. Oh, good. I'm so glad. I'm so glad. Awesome. Well, I hope you guys have a great rest of your evening. Happy almost Friday. I hope you have a nice weekend and we will chat soon. You have my number. We'll chat over there if you need me. Okay. Bye.